I'm going to be so for real with you whenever I say this video took way longer than it should have. In this book contains unique information from every single Titanfall 2, Titanfall, Apex iceberg I could find. Now there is a whole nother Apex iceberg video I could make, but I'm only doing Titanfall relevant information because I'm going to be so for real, that's so much more easier and what so many more of my subscribers would like. Now, there is no actual iceberg for this because it is an amalgamation of about like 4 or 5 different icebergs. Now you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just make one? Because there is so much. Every single time I said to myself, oh, this video is finally finished. Guess what? It wasn't, because I would come across a new iceberg. And so many of them are just community memes that, thank God, I've been brain rotted by this game to the point where I can distinguish the jokes from the non-jokes. But let's just get right into it with Tier 1. Tier 1 is the above surface information that anybody that has even played the game once would know. Tier 1 is going to be basic community, like not even community information, just general stuff that you should know about the game or realistically would know about the game. Apex Legends Connection. Now, a lot of people do actually know that Titanfall 2 is within the Apex universe. In the Titanfall 2 campaign, if you collect all of the collectible pilot helmets hidden throughout the map, you will get a secret message in Morse code. Now, this is speculated to be from BT himself. The secret EPG is referencing several EPGs hidden throughout the Titanfall 2 campaign. In the Titanfall 2 campaign, it's a very powerful weapon, seeing as it can one-shot enemies, pretty much all of them, does insane AoE damage, and can damage Titans as well. Titanfall 2 secretly runs on the source engine used for TF2, ironically, Half-Life 2, a bunch of other games that ended with 2 that never got a 3. So that leads to a lot of the little quirks and bugs from Source Engine to actually bleed over into Titanfall 2. But that's also apparently why the movement's so good, is that it's just heavily modified Source. And a lot of Source games do have a lot of really good movement, so I kind of agree with this. Monarch Origins is talking about how in the little blurb given for the Monarch, it is based off of the charred remains of 2 Vanguard class Titans, which is why it looks exactly like BT and every single other one of the militia's Titans. Tier 2 is the surface. This is stuff that you would learn from being in the community, playing the game for quite a while. Just, once again, random stuff that you would learn like over time. Into the Abyss Secret Dialogue. Basically, it's referencing Into the Abyss, where Cooper jumps into some water. BT's like, we don't have time for recreation and all this kind of stuff. And just look it up for yourself. I'll leave a link to it down below. Tier 2 is Drop Pod Player Launch, which I really don't know what that's talking about. But we're going to make Berg happy real quick. It could be referencing the intro animation of Titanfall 1, where you would be strapped into a grunt drop pod, and just, that's how you would enter the match. And honestly, it looked pretty freaking cool. Grunt Surrender is referencing how sometimes when you're in your Titan and you just stop in front of a grunt, they will literally just give up. There's nothing a grunt can do to a Titan, so yeah. Now, on the iceberg that I found this one on, it said the Janior, which I may think is referencing the Janitor, which is a community meme that was made whenever Respawn was slowly making changes and updates to Titanfall 2 for a period of time. After, I think, like, what, 7 years of getting no updates whatsoever, there was a reference that the Janitor of Respawn was just going around fixing stuff in Titanfall 2, which, honestly, A-tier meme. I need to do a tier list of all the community memes, honestly, because I kind of like some of these. Spectre hacking is referencing something that I am surprised a lot of people don't know about, but I kind of just never thought to tell anyone about it because it's just a for fun thing. You can run up behind a Spectre in Titanfall 2 multiplayer, and you can pull out your data knife and hack it. You just press the interact button and you hold it. And this can also be done in the campaign. A lot of people don't know about that. Kraber and Lastimosa are devs. That is referencing how the Kraber sniper rifle and Ty Lastimosa from the campaign are referencing actual devs from Respawn. Now, I do know that Kraber is a sound designer. I don't remember what Lastimosa did. The pre-alpha Pulse Blade model is actually pretty cool. Secondly, was so cool that it got reused in the Titanfall 2 campaign for Viper. So the only thing that really changed about it was the helmet itself, where they just changed the helmet. For whatever reason, I kind of like both of them, really. Though I will admit, in a lot of respects, it just doesn't look as cool. I kind of like sillier, goofy stuff, so there's that. But you can actually see this, in fact, if you go on to the game select of Titanfall 2's multiplayer, you can actually see a pulse, you could see the pre-alpha Pulse Blade pilot battling against a release phase pilot, so that's pretty cool. Ogre on Wargames. If you select any of the good guys on the Titanfall 2 multiplayer, when you're loading into a match of Wargames, you are in a simulation pod, and outside of that, you can see some grunts or Marvins or whatever working on an Ogre-class Titan from the previous game, Titanfall 1. What is incredibly funny about this is that a lot of people think that means that there is a model for the Ogre Titan in Titanfall 2, so whenever some stuff that comes up later in the tier list, or at least it should, I actually don't remember if I put it in. A lot of people thought that the Ogre-class Titan was actually in the game files, but it's not. That is literally just a PNG, which I think is so funny because Respawn has kept that tradition of using Titans, like just pictures of Titans in the background in place of actual Titans. Could you not? I'm filming right now, Jeremy. But I just think that's really funny how they just, like, and it's so smart too, and they always do it. Even in their high-end animations, there's just PNG cutouts of Titans, like, in the background that don't fit at all. And it only works whenever you don't look directly at them, and now that I'm thinking about it, I need to start doing that. The pilot sword can be referencing one of two things, and I will cover both now. There is a extra melee animation that is used in a lot of the LTMs that have recently come out, and I'm pretty sure they had to have been there before that. But it is a small machete-like implement that you can only see for like a split second during pilot melees during said LTMs. But it could also be referencing a scrapped weapon that was an actual pilot sword. Now, I am so upset this didn't get added to the game, because it was actually a killstreak weapon. We don't have one of those in Titanfall, like, at all, and we need one. But essentially what it would do is a regular melee. It would start off like a pretty slow swing, and then the more kills you got with it, the more damage it would do, and it would have particle effects that would match the damage level respectively. And it got to the point where apparently it could be used against Titans, which I think is so freaking hilarious, because a lot of people think that, oh, a pilot's flying straight at me, well, he's going to try to rodeo me and then take my battery. But it would be so much funnier if there was just some madman that just started like wombo comboing you with an electric sword. This is referenced with Ashe in Apex Legends, apparently, because her sword also is supposed to be the finalized model for said pilot sword. I don't believe that, but whatever. The Bison Titan is a scrapped Ogre-class Titan that would have been melee-based entirely. So it would have had a charge attack, it would have just basically like run up, started throwing hands on you, which is the Titan version of the pilot. The Fudoka BR is in reference to a scrapped weapon that was actually given a model and almost finalized by the time that it was cut. Nobody knows why. But the Fudoka BR was going to be a weapon that was based off of, once again, like Ty Lastimosa, like the Kraber. It was also named after Fudoka, one of the last names of one of the devs. I also don't know what he does, can't remember. Jill Cooper is a scrapped female version of Jack Cooper that you would have been able to play as in the Titanfall 2 campaign. And after a certain amount of time, they decided, hey, Let's just scrap that, because then we would have to hire another voice actor, do double the work. Let's just have Jack. And the name was referencing Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill being, you know, the kids that ran up the hill to fetch a pail of water. The old nursery rhyme. In development, they kept the model, used that for Gates before Gates had her own finalized model. And if you don't update your Titanfall 2 from its original version, you can actually see the original Gates. I am damn sure, because I remember that happening. Because whenever I had first gotten Titanfall 2, I didn't let it fully update, so I played through the entire campaign in the original version, and it is very different. We are now moving into Tier 3. This is just slightly below the ice of said iceberg. The Nessie Vault is referencing the secret Easter egg of Nessie, which is the little Loch Ness Monster plush you see everywhere in Respawn games. If you shoot bottles in a sequential order on one of the first levels in Titanfall's campaign, no, Titanfall 2's campaign, I gotta make the distinction because nerds exist, actually just shoot bottles in sequential order that are hidden throughout the map. You could walk like right through this wall and you'll go to a room of Nessies worshipping a much larger Nessie, which is really cool. I love it whenever games do that. Droves from The Last Resort and the 6-4 is actually the uncle to Mirage from Apex Legends, which is really cool. I love when we get that kind of stuff. Oh boy. Jack Cooper was an IMC pilot. This theory goes so unbelievably deep. It goes so incredibly deep because it was made to explain the fact that for some reason Cooper is able to just pick up like pilot gear and then just start like running on walls, double jumping, sliding, doing pilot stuff while being an IMC grunt. No, not being an IMC grunt, while being a militia grunt. Now, one thing that I think explains this, and this is my own personal thing, I don't think that he actually was an IMC pilot. I really think that, yeah, he was just getting trained by Lastimosa. And one of the theories to explain why he is able to double jump, slide, all that kind of stuff is an injection that Ty Lastimosa gives him that knocks him out during the beginning of the campaign. The reason this whole thing is an issue to begin with is because it is stated in Titanfall 1 somewhere. I've been told this over and over again, cannot find it myself. If somebody could leave me a link to it in the comments, that'd be really nice. But it's referenced in Titanfall 1 that the pilots have cybernetic endoskeletons that give them the ability to do all this crazy stuff, including cloaking and all sorts of other things. One thing I completely forgot to add, and I'm going to try to remember to edit it. The reason the IMC Cooper theory is a thing is because in a scrapped online, mobile game, it was a scrapped mobile game called Titanfall Assault, in which there was a character known as Iron Cooper. Iron Cooper, who also mysteriously looks exactly like Jack Cooper. Iron Cooper is in fact stated to be an ex-IMC pilot. So, I guess theory confirmed. You can take your tinfoil hats off now. The cut Titanfall 1 single player is actually true. There was going to be a Titanfall 1 single player, but it did get scrapped. Barker's dead family is kind of a pseudo community joke. I say pseudo because it's not really a joke, it's actually just kind of fucking sad. But it's the theory to why he is an alcoholic, and it's very obvious that he is. STEM side effects. So, there are two kinds of STEM. The ability that is used in Titanfall, and the chemical in the Titanfall universe. So STEM is essentially like a stimulant drug. Just think about any kind of upper or whatever. But it's an actual factual drug in the Titanfall 2 universe. There's a Titanfall 1 grunt that references it. By the way, grunt voice lines are just the best. I love them. But he talks about putting a drop of stem in his coffee, and he was awake for weeks. So, that's neat. Now, you can develop a STEM addiction. In the Apex Legends games, you can find a character, Octane. He uses STEM or some form of STEM to the point where he has a dialysis machine to filter it out of his blood, which is just wild. He's also an adrenaline junkie. He has a stim addiction. For a long time, it was like, oh no, he just uses stim, and then it slowly becomes obvious, no, he has a problem. But then it comes into stim on use in people. Well, very obviously, people can't really use stim. But there are simulacrum pilots that use stim, which is basically they just get stimulated for a couple of seconds. But if you look very closely, it's kind of hard to tell. They're robots. And this is also referenced in the fact that you would normally see stim like an octane being used. There's actually electricity, so it's very obvious that they're just being overclocked. So there's that. Also, stim use on people has been shown to harm them, such as in Octane, Octavio Silva, whatever you want to call him, which is not the case in Titanfall's stim, where it actually heals and increases the healing factor of said stim pilot. And it's busted as shit. Dead pilots can be found throughout the campaign. They're pretty much everywhere if you look hard enough, so yeah, theory confirmed. Blisk helmet is actually pretty cool that this was even a thing, but the character Blisk does actually have a helmet that is fully realized, fully modeled, fully colored in Titanfall 2. He just never wears it. You can see it. It kind of looks like a Destiny 2 model. I don't like it all that much. Doesn't really fit his character all that much. But yeah, he does have one. The DDoS lore. I don't even feel like I need to cover this. So, link. The Relic QR code will lead you to a special website that was a defunct IMC website or whatever. But, and there's a kind of like a community secret on there. It's really freaking cool. I'm going to try to leave said link down below. There's going to be a lot of links down below. The OK sign in the time gauntlet is a reference to a secret animation that would play, which would be the OK sign, whenever shifting between, like, realities. So, there's that. For those that don't understand the whole debacle behind this, or this, whichever way I'm facing, there was a joke on 4chan where they started saying that this was a white power symbol. Actually, wait. How do you draw a P? That's a 9. That's a P. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that. Okay. That this meant white power. And they tried to make it that it was a racist symbol. It is not, by the way. That, once again, that is a joke. But a lot of people didn't understand that it was a joke made by internet trolls. So this did come to mean to a lot of people white power. And you're probably wondering, well, what about that means that? So they tried to say that this was a P and this was a W. And then you got the white, the power. But this is actually the OK sign, which stands for all correct. This was used by scuba divers for a very long time. Because I don't know if you know this, you can't talk to people through about 8 feet of water, so you have to use hand signs. So if something is like going horribly wrong, you go like, oh shit, or it's something like this. But you go like this, and it's like, oh my god, something's going horribly wrong. Hey, somebody go check on Jerry real quick. But it's like, hey, yo, Jerry, are you good? And it's like, Jerry would go, because you can't hear each other. The Journeyman is in reference to a scrapped Titan. It was a mech that would have been used to show the player how Titans worked, things like that, because I guess they didn't think that getting into a gigantic robot was like intuitive enough. So they were going to have like a what is it, kind of like a construction equipment Titan that would have showed you how to use Titans. The chaff grenade is a scrapped Titan ability, and there were so many scrap Titans ability. It is ridiculous. But the chaff grenade basically would have been if it was basically a flare. So like if you were getting locked onto, you could just throw out a chaff grenade and it would lock onto the grenade itself. It was basically like a decoy. The Mortar Titan I don't really get. but it was shown several times throughout, like, several different icebergs. So I guess it's talking about the unplayable Frontier Defense Titan, the Mortar Titan, which basically sets down and just shoots rockets at the objective, the Harvester. There's also the Arc Titan. That was not on any, tier list, on any icebergs whatsoever. I don't know what's up with that. What's wrong with Electric Sword Boy? Why ain't he on these? The Orbital Strike would have been a cut, kind of kill streak type thing that would have called down an Orbital Strike. And for some reason, it would have affected Titans, very little, but it would have absolutely decimated any pilots. Which is honestly kind of a cool idea. I really like that. And this is why I laid down. I have to pull out the wiki for this one. Okay, so this is the long part. Right here. Skip to this if you want to skip all of the ships. Alright, so let's speed through these. Definitive air and space superiority. Do not care. Discord. The Macallan class carrier. The Macallan class carrier is a starship classification created by the militia. Its namesake and the first ship of the line, the MCS James Macallan itself, is named after the militia war hero James Macallan. Supposed to appear at the Battle of Angel. Don't know. IMC Draconis. We all know this one is the Viper. And Sloane, she is a screw you, pilot. But I don't know. The ship can also be used and seen on war games, as the map is part of the simulation of the base Sierra. I didn't know that. Is there a ship on war games that I don't know about?
Oh. Yeah, that is a different ship. I just thought this was like a regular drop ship this whole time.
There's too many. There's 2 pages. I've only read a quarter of one of these. I guess that's just added to the tier list. Why do I keep saying tier list? The iceberg now. The brick ship is a vehicle that was originally a concept designed in Titanfall. It was a large compact spacecraft that was eventually formed into the Red Eye. The Red Eye is a frontier militia vehicular spacecraft in Titanfall. The Red Eye is a flagship of the militia's first fleet. While refueling at the IMC gas extraction facility during the campaign mission, the refueling raid, it's damaged by the facility's heavy defense turrets. If the militia loses the mission, the Red Eye is destroyed, but if the militia is victorious, it survives to escape the rest of the militia's fleet. In stories from the Outlands, North Star, a similar ship, could be flying past Valkyrie along with other militia ships before engaging a fight with the IMC forces over Angela. I don't know how you say that word. Vector is a character cut from Titanfall's campaign. Prior to the cancellation of the game's single-player campaign, Vector would have been one of the crew on the Red Eye, alongside Macallan, Sarah, and Bish. During the game's development, Respawn Entertainment wanted YouTuber FPS Russia to voice the character, which is wild to me. The Avenger is a Titan weapon that got cut from Titanfall 1, which later became the Predator cannon that is used by Legion in the Titanfall 2 multiplayer and campaign, technically. The worker-based campaign prototype is the beta campaign for Titanfall, or Titanfall 2, I cannot remember at all. But it's one of the cut campaigns that I thought was really, really cool, and you get to play as, I'm pretty sure, Pilot Anderson. So that's freaking sweet. The trophy shield is a cut Titan ability that was basically like a trophy system. If you don't know what a trophy system is, it just shoots down incoming projectiles. And that was Tier 3. Tier 4. So this is pretty deep below the ice, getting into the water. And this is stuff that a lot of people just wouldn't know unless they researched it. So the first one is going to be the fact that Blisk in the Titanfall 2 campaign can actually be killed. which I didn't even know before making this. The double take shoots 3 bullets. Now, I don't exactly think this one should be in tier 4, but a lot of people said it should be in tier 4. So, a lot of people apparently don't know the fact that the double take actually shoots a 3rd invisible bullet in the middle, which means you can miss both shots completely and still hit one in the middle. And if you ever wondered why the damage on the double take was so weird, that's why. So the reason that BT is named BT is because his name is actually Buddy Titan. BT was just the code that was used by the developers to reference BT while developing the game. The Smart Pistol is BT colored in the campaign. The Smart Pistol that you actually pull out of BT's Seer kit is actually colored in BT's colorway, which I think is a really cool detail. The 120 round EPG on the campaign. Once again, those secret EPGs, one of them has 120 reserve ammo, which is wild. There's a Half-Life 2 Easter egg in the IMC Blight base during the time shift. If you don't know, there is a Half-Life 2 reference in Titanfall 2. There's a hazmat suit with a crowbar and all other kinds of stuff. I'll let you guys look into it because it's actually pretty cool. Now what's weird is, on this list, it just says Ranor Sarono, and for some reason that just links back to the D2 double take, so that's weird. Colony and Relic are connected. If you don't know, yeah, Colony is like right next to Relic. A lot of people, they're just blown away by that, but you can literally like look over the edge of Relic and you could see Colony down there. That's where those like gigantic like pipes lead to, so that's pretty cool. Also, nobody ever talks about this. For some reason on Relic, if you like go towards the back of the map where a lot of like Monarchs and North Stars like to go, there's just up on that mountain a gigantic statue of a lizard head like man. And it's like really far away, and that is weird to me. I don't know what that's about, but we may be getting to it later. Campaign enemy pilots are referencing the fact that you were supposed to be able to fight enemy pilots, and there is enemy pilot wall running and sliding and everything. AI built into the game, but it's never used. You also see simulacrum pilots in... I can't remember the name of it, but they're the ones that throw the drones into the air. The rare G2 reload is actually pretty cool. So instead of, just taking out the mag, putting it back in, if you completely empty out the G2 and you have to reload it, well, there is a secret animation that can play where you just like pop out the mag and you just slam another one back in. Apparently the G2 is supposed to reference the M1 Garand, which is a World War era World War I era which is like a World War era weapon, which is kind of weird they would have that, but yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. The dead TF1 grunts are, yeah, there's dead TF1 grunts in the campaign. The Gibber, and this is one that I think is really funny. So the Gibber was a scrapped weapon that was just supposed to blow people up. Now, what's so funny about this? Well, number one, just imagine like a gun that its only thing it does is just blow people up. But another thing, this is actually a reference to Source, the engine. So what a Gib is basically just like a piece of a body. So it's a Gibber. It turns people into pieces of bodies. So there were some Titans that were supposed to have shoulder turrets. Now what that was going to do, the Stack the Deck burn card is a scrap TF1 burn card that was supposed to let you have 3 other burn cards, which is like busted. Why did they like not add that? So Rebels were basically a cut, Rebels were essentially like a cut minion from Titanfall. They were supposed to be some kind of like AI or whatever that would fight alongside the militia. But like I said, they got replaced by grunts. So then why are Spectres a thing? Spectres are actually theorized to be grunt simulacrums. So there's that. The Vortex Grenade is a scrapped Titan ability. And it was basically just supposed to be Grav Star for Titans, which is kind of cool. They did not add that because that sounds busted as shit. The Walker is a huge inactive, walking turret in Titanfall 1, which, Walker is the given name, the community given name, to this gigantic walking turret in Titanfall 1. It's inactive, it doesn't do anything, but it is basically like a pilot sentry on steroids. Another thing, it was speculated at some point that the pilot sentries were supposed to be able to walk because the legs on it are articulated. I really don't know. I don't think that they would have had walking turrets because then at that point, what are, like, Reapers and Spectres for? The Smart Cannon is also kind of a community meme because the only thing that we know about it was that it was a lock-on storm rifle, which is like zero information because we don't know what a storm rifle is. I guess maybe it was supposed to be like a lock-on Thunderbolt or something. And now here we are in Tier 5. This is below the iceberg itself and it's deep into the water. And I don't know how this one made it so deep, but E-Smoke Firestar. The game tells you this, that electric smoke can put out fire stars. It puts fires out. It's only really useful for like teamwork basically because you can't walk through your own e-smoke without getting hurt by it. There is a dev signature on the map complex and on the arc. E-smoke and regular smoke reveals cloaked pilots. Now, a lot of people will argue with me about if this was intentional or not. I don't believe it was because particles do not like be friendly to each other a lot of the time. Especially when it comes to Source. Oh my god. But yeah, you can use smoke and e-smoke to locate enemy cloaked pilots. And if you're having trouble locating enemy cloaked pilots, get your eyes checked. Titan Slide is also a weird one I don't understand because were Titans meant to be able to slide while dashing or something like that? Or is it referencing that if you have somebody melee you while you are dashing in the direction the melee would have sent you, it like quadruples it. It like quadruples it and sends a like 40-ton Titan flying. I really wonder if there's some way you can do that with like a teammate. Like if somebody gets behind you as you dash and they punch you at the same time, like will it send you flying? But like I said earlier, this thing runs on Source. It's a buggy mess. There's going to be stuff that's like really cool that you can't replicate. The dev team picture in-game is actually not even a theory or anything. Several pictures throughout the map are actually like pictures of the dev team. And there's actually a Minecraft Easter egg. Well, the Minecraft overlaps with... Technically, Minecraft exists in the Titanfall 2 universe because of this, because one of the devs is actually wearing a Minecraft shirt in said picture, which I think is really freaking cool, and I hope nothing happens to that, because you know how some companies are over their IPs. The Nessie Memorial could be referencing the Nessie cult, or it could be in reference to certain spots in maps that were fixed quite recently, as of making of this video, of course, that were fixed quite recently by the devs or the janitor or whatever you want to call it during the Titanfall anniversary. Now, in the spots that were fixed were usually just spots where you can get out of the map, but now in those spots there's just a Nessie. Easter egg in, once again, the timey-wimey wibbly-wobbly level. My voice just cracked. I hope nobody heard that. So, basically there is a series of things you can do to get into a room where, is in reference to the movie Time Cop, I don't think I can put the scene in, but basically there's a character that, like, jumps and does the splits on 2 tables to avoid like electrified water on the floor. But, yeah. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of stuff that didn't make it onto the, like, iceberg, which I may wind up having to do another iceberg because of. I've been filming for almost an hour and a half now. So, yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Comment. Let me know, do you want me to do more icebergs, more stuff like this, and, yeah, have a nice day.